Carlos Alcaraz compared to young Rafael Nadal after shocking training story from Spanish legend emerges. Carlos Alcaraz is like Rafael Nadal. Those words, spoken years ago by Toni Nadal, once sounded like bold optimism. Today, they feel prophetic. Long before Carlos Alcaraz stunned the tennis world by lifting his first Australian Open trophy and completing a career Grand Slam at a historic age, the whispers were already growing inside Spanish tennis circles. Coaches, former players, and legends saw something special, something familiar. And now, a jaw-dropping training story from former world number 3 David Ferrer has added powerful fuel to the comparison between Alcaraz and a young Rafael Nadal, that a belief that started before the trophy's Toni Nadal, the man who helped shape Rafael Nadal into a 22-time Grand Slam champion, has never been careless with praise. So when he once said that Carlos Alcaraz reminded him of his nephew, people listened, but cautiously. Comparing any young player to Nadal is dangerous territory. Yet Toni believed in Alcaraz long before the spotlight followed him. Before the Grand Slam titles. Before the world number 1 ranking. Before Novak Djokovic became one of his most famous victims. Now, David Ferrer, one of Spain's toughest competitors and most respected grinders, has stepped forward with a story that makes the comparison feel impossible to ignore. The day a 14-year-old shocked the top. 10-star speaking to SER Deportivos Valencia, Ferrer recalled the very first time he trained with Carlos Alcaraz. At the time, Ferrer was still a top 10 player, deep into his professional career, known for his intensity, discipline, and refusal to waste time on court. Alcaraz? Just 14 years old. When he was 14, I was already top 10, and Juan Carlos Ferrero told me, "Hey, I've signed a player from Murcia, and he's unbelievably good." Ferrer recalled. Ferrer's response was skeptical but curious. I said, "I'm in Javia. Bring him over and let him train with me." That invitation would turn into one of the most unforgettable practice sessions of Ferrer's career. "Don't waste my time," Ferrer made one thing clear from the start. This wasn't going to be a casual hit. I was very demanding with my training sessions, and I said, "Don't waste my time. He's 14 years old, and I want proper practice. I'm in preseason." This wasn't arrogance. It was professionalism. Ferrer trained with maximum intensity, and he expected the same in return. If the kid couldn't keep up, the session would be over quickly. That's when Juan Carlos Ferrero, the former world number 1 and Alcaraz's coach, asked him for trust. What happened next left Ferrer stunned. The rally that changed everything. Ferrer decided to test the teenager immediately, pushing the pace from the very first balls of the warm-up. Normally, when an elite pro starts hitting heavy, penetrating shots, a junior player breaks down within a few exchanges. But Carlos Alcaraz didn't. He returns the first one. The second one too, Ferrer said. And on the third, he accelerates it. That moment stopped Ferrer in his tracks. "It just blows your mind," he admitted. The power, the timing, the fearlessness, the ability to not just survive, but counterattack against a seasoned top 10 professional. He was like Rafa as a kid. As the session continued, Ferrer felt a sense of déjà vu. He was like Rafa as a kid, 14 years old. The comparison wasn't about trophies or rankings. It was about mentality, the intensity, the refusal to back down, the hunger to compete against anyone, regardless of age or status. They eventually played a super tiebreak, and Ferrer narrowly escaped with a 10-8 win. Or did he? A 1-10-8. Ferrer laughed. "But I think he let me win. I swear he was very close to beating me." Then came the line that truly echoed Nadal. "I think out of respect, because he's like Rafa but from a different background." Nadal's shadow and Alcaraz's own light. Rafael Nadal set an almost impossible standard for Spanish tennis. His work ethic, mental strength, and competitive fire reshaped the sport. Any comparison to him invites enormous pressure. But what makes Carlos Alcaraz different, and so exciting, is that he doesn't feel like a copy. Yes, he has Nadal's intensity. Yes, he has Nadal's fearless mindset. Yes, he has Nadal's ability to rise in big moments. But Alcaraz brings his own flair, more improvisation, more creative shot-making, a modern blend of power and touch shaped by a new era of tennis. From Murcia to tennis immortality, that 14-year-old from Murcia who shocked David Ferrer, is now the youngest man to complete a career Grand Slam, defeating Novak Djokovic on one of tennis's biggest stages. The raw talent Ferrer saw in Javier has matured into dominance, discipline, and belief. And suddenly, Toni Nadal's words no longer sound exaggerated. They sound accurate that a passing of the torch. Spain has always produced fighters. But once in a generation, it produces something more, a player who doesn't just win matches, but defines an era. Rafael Nadal carried that torch for nearly 2 decades. Carlos Alcaraz now holds it in his hands. And if David Ferrer's story proves anything, it's this. The world didn't miss the signs. The legend was always there, we just hadn't caught up yet.